are we actually going to be using this blue grammar book when we do our Henle Latin in challenge? This is something that people want to know, and they think, what in the world is this for? All of my exercises and assignments are in the purple book. Why am I purchasing this blue book? And the truth is, if you understand how to use the grammar book, it is actually really useful. But I got to be honest, I didn't understand it my first time through. In fact, I copied down the rules out of this book, and that was basically it. But I started tabbing the different sections that I needed to be reminded of the rules my second year through. And my third year through, I feel like I went through and perfected it. And so now I have this master tabbing system that has worked really well to help me find what I need to find. Now, I do think this blue grammar book saves me time and is really helpful. So today, I am going to walk you through how I tabbed this book. And you can copy these tabs if you want to get this jump start. I have a question for you. Put your answer in the comments below. I am trying to figure out, are we all resistant to Latin in the same way? Or do we all have different concerns that make us resistant to Latin? Because I, like you, totally started out resistant to Latin. And when I came into Challenge A, I had no intention of my student or I participating in Latin. It wasn't until I signed up to Direct Challenge B that I realized I actually have to learn Latin now because I am responsible to facilitate course time on our CC Community Day discussing Latin. And if I'm doing it, my student might as well do it right along with me. But honestly, in the summer before school started, as I dove into Latin, I kind of fell in love with it. And I don't think that's going to happen for everybody, but it did change my heart. And I did want my students to learn Latin at that point moving forward. So I am dying to know, put in the comments below, why are you resistant to Latin? And I want to know if we all have the same reason or if we're all coming from a variety of different opinions and have different reasons for being resistant to Latin. And if we haven't met before, hi, my name's Erica Lynn, and I want to be your homeschooling bestie. It is my goal to help make homeschooling easy for everyday moms and dads. And if you're watching this video, will you please like it below so that I know this is a topic that is interesting or important to you? Now, the first thing I want to point out are the different colors of my tabs here. They are on purpose, and that is because I tab my colors according to parts of speech, which if you have seen this video about how I do my essentials notebook and my essentials copy charts, you will know why. But let me show you here also. These are my essentials charts. All of the copy charts. I have gone through and I have printed each of these charts on the color of paper that I have highlighted the parts of the speech in the front. I know that color helps our brain to retain information. So my first year in Essentials, when I was looking at all of these multiple of black and white charts, I just knew immediately this is not helpful to me. And so I went through and I printed each of them off on colored paper. And that is how my students and I have been copying these Latin charts. So when we get to Latin, it only makes sense that we're learning about the parts of speech in the same colors that we learned about them in Essentials. And that's going to be a peg from the past that's going to strengthen my students' connection to their Latin as they move forward. So that is why we have the different colors. They do have a meaning, and it is important. And I use the exact same colors when going over the Henle Latin 1, which you can see how to tab that book here. I do add in a couple more things because I'm layering on more information, and that lends itself to more colors. Now, if you have watched one of my tabbing videos before, you know that I like to lay out all my tabs on my desk and pre-label them where I can write on a flat, smooth surface, and my handwriting will be neat, and then let them dry. And finally, I place them into my book, and I do it a special way. I start at the back and move to the front so that my tabs are spaced perfectly, and I'm going to demonstrate that for you now. Okay, so you can see right down here where I have pre-labeled each of the tabs that I want to stick on, and I have let them dry as well. Now, I want to go over the color coding system that I use. This book has already been done. Nouns, I do orange, adjectives, blue, adverbs, green. Numerals is a new one. We didn't do that in Essentials, so that's just yellow. Pronouns, purple. Verbs, pink or red. I flip back and forth between the two. And then prepositions and interjections, I do orange as well. So those are my chart colors that I used in Essentials, and I have continued through the challenge Latin Henley 1 and Latin Henley 2. Now, this is the book that I'm going to tab. And the way I'm going to do it is to start at the back of the book. Page 225 is where I'm going to stick my prepositions tab. Now, typically, I like to stair-step my tabs up a book. However, this time I'm doing it differently because this is a rules book and it is divided into parts of speech. I put each color in the same row. So my tabs are not stair-stepped, but each row across is the same color. And so I'll show you how I do that as I go through. My next tab I need to add is verbals, page 199. And I'm going to just place this above with a small gap, the prepositions. Now this book already had some tabs in. So when I come forward, I'm going to make sure all of these tabs are in the same alignment. And so this is why I move from back to front, because now I can line the ones in front on top of the tabs that are behind them. So now they are evenly in one row there. Those go at the top, so I'm going to do that last. And then I've got the cases, goes on page 149, and this goes in the top section. And then noun clauses goes on page 137, and I'm going to layer it right on top. See how easy it is for me to get those lined up correctly? Now I'm going to check the one that I already put on there. It's a little bit higher. So I'm going to go ahead and move this one down a smidge. Yay! So everything is really in the same row. This one's a little off-centered here. I actually think this one's over too far. So I'll fix that. So that is how I tab the right side. I'm just going to run through each of these tabs on the right side of this book so that you know what pages they're on, and I'll also put this in the description. Page 225, prepositions. Page 199, verbals. Page 195, adjectives. Page 181, pronouns. Page 137, noun clauses. Page 131, adjective clauses. Page 109, adverbial clauses. Page 77, verbs irregular. Page 41, verbs. Page 33, pronouns. Page 29, numerals. Page 25, adverbs. Page 15, adjectives. And page 3, nouns. Now we just need to do the tabs at the top. We are going to tab pronunciation and diagramming. So the things at the top of the book are going to be special things or all-purpose resources that I'm going to use more than the tabs at the side. Pronunciation, page 241, and then diagramming is going to be right behind it, page 237. And I'm going to do these so that I can see both of them. And then I do like to tab things that I use a lot. Page 77, irregular verbs. This is really just to be. We use to be a lot, and I like to have it tabbed. In fact, I use it so much I don't even write what it is on there because I just have it memorized. This is also a special one that I tab in the purple book because until I get those memorized, you have to look up the endings almost every single exercise. Okay, so if you find that there's anything you have a hard time memorizing and need to reference a lot, make yourself a special little tab here for the top so it's easy to access. If you made it to the end of this video, will you please just put a heart in the comments below? That means the world to me. Thank you so much. And I want you to remember, you are organized just the way you are. And if you found this helpful tabbing your grammar book, you probably want to check out this video, which is for tabbing your Henle Latin first year book, or this video, which is for tabbing your Henle Latin to the second year book.